Yeah, not a whole lot, really to give a statement about. The only statement that was made today was by TCU. Uh, really good team. They punched us in the mouth from the start. We didn't really respond, and ultimately, that's on me as a coach. I got to do a better job of setting a better tone and getting our guys ready. The truth is, though, there's a lot, still left in the season. A lot of great opportunities for us. And one thing we always talk about in our locker room is the hardest thing in this league is the second hardest thing to do in this league is to look ahead. But the hardest thing that you can ever do in this league is look behind. So we take this one on the chin, and I look forward to seeing how our guys respond because we certainly have some responding to do.
Mike, I think it's the first time since your first year you've given up 100 points. I mean, is there a common thing that goes into those kind of things, or is it just one of those days defensively?
I mean, it doesn't sound very common, first and foremost. So I don't, obviously we've been a really good defensive team. The last two games are not an indication that we're still not that. Today we played against a team that played really well. Obviously a lot of motivation for this team, and they played like a team that had a tremendous amount of purpose. And it didn't help having a preseason player of the year back. I think it helped lift up those other guys, but they just flat out beat us. There's no excuses. They were better in every facet of the game, and it's on us to respond and kind of try to figure out kind of how to pick ourselves up.
Mike, how do you get back to being that defensive team that you guys were before this last week? And can you pinpoint anything, or how do you get back there?
Yeah, I mean, it was different today. Today, a lot of it was just turnovers early. Some fouls obviously didn't hurt in the first half. We had to play with some different lineups. But again, I don't want to make this about us. This was about TCU playing really good basketball. Again, their backs were against the wall to a certain degree, and they play like it. I don't want to say desperate because I'm not in their locker room, but I would imagine that this game was a big game for them as they prepared over the last couple of days. So they played like a team that was expected to be able to make a run this time of year, and to have their guys back. They executed their game plan much better than we did, and the score is very much indicative of how the game was played. Sometimes it's a little bit skewed. Today's not skewed. They were that much better than us today.
Coach, for you, from your perspective, how much different is TCU with Mike back?
I mean, I don't want to oversimplify this, but there's a reason he was picked as the best player in the best league in the country. And so to play without him, now you have guys who are good players having to do things that they didn't expect to have to do. Not that they're not capable of, but the expectation and the way they prepared their season was that he's the guy. He sets the tone for everything that everybody else does. And so without him, you can take away the strengths of the other guys because you're not as worried about what he's going to do. With him in there, you give a lot of attention to what he brings. The numbers don't say that he was a dominant force, but his presence makes that big of a difference. I mean, they're a team that could, make a run to all the way. I mean, playing late March and maybe early April. That's how good they are.
I think points in the paint were 50 to 20. You guys usually don't get beaten there that bad. What went wrong there today?
I mean, I can't say for sure how much of it was once we had to start pressing, and we had to just. We were hoping that they had to take a lot more shots. I mean, once you get down 20, with 8 minutes to go, you kind of make a decision if you're going to press, and then if the other team's going to start to hold it, then maybe they get out of rhythm. But they stayed aggressive, and so some of it came there, but some of the other ones just came from just poor ball handling, turnovers that led to breakouts. And it's a reason they're the #1 fast break team in the country, and that was again on display today.
Offensively, you guys kind of struggled to get the ball inside early. What was TCU doing to deny that?
I just think they play with a great physical presence. Again, can't ever underestimate the value of a team playing with their backs against the wall. And I feel like that's how they played this game. And again, it's easier to play with your back against the wall when you got your guy out there that helps everyone feel a little bit more at ease in their respective roles. But I think their physicality was certainly a factor. It's something that we got to respond to. It's not the first time we played against a team that's physical, so I was surprised that we didn't respond better. But it's something we need to address because obviously there's a possibility we could see them again. But the other teams in our league all have the ability to do the same thing. a good question. I mean, without the benefit of going back and watching the film, I don't know if it was that they were more physical with him. Obviously, Eddie being in there was a factor. He picks up a foul in the first 10 seconds of the game. So he's a little bit off balance, but was never really able to get great post position to really do what he's been doing really well. And again, credit to TCU. They had a great game plan. They didn't really have to double him. He wasn't in the game very much. I think he had 4 fouls in less than 10 minutes. 3, but obviously once we had to start pressing and he was shooting on the court, it became a little bit less of a prominent factor in what we were doing.
Moose has been kind of quiet offensively since he got hurt, but especially these last couple of games. How do you get him offensively to get back to kind of where he was earlier in the year?
Yeah, I don't think that's where our focus is. He's the best defensive player in the country, and we need him to continue to do that. A lot of his points are going to come off, us being able to get in the lane and draw a second defender, maybe throwing a lob to him. Obviously, he struggled at the free throw line again. That's part of it. So once we get him back in a flow of, seeing those free throws go in, I think he'll get a little bit more confident in the other ones, because when you don't make your free throws, the tendency is to not want to get fouled. And then you don't play with the same kind of force around the rim. And then, you're kind of expecting or hoping that it goes in without, having to worry about going to the line to convert. So we're not focused on it, but it's something that we'll continue to talk to him about. Is you got to just be your aggressive self when you have opportunities. We got to get some easy baskets for him, whether it be in transition or on the offensive glass. And then we got to continue to, have him impose his will on the defensive side. I thought he was a pretty good defensive presence in the first half when he came in. And we got to continue to stick to that.
John Michael, what do you think it's going to take to get back defensively to where you guys were a week ago?
We just have to get back to our grit and toughness, whether it be in practice and the games. We just have to come out with a lot more fire and expectation that the other team is here to knock our heads off. And I don't think we did a good job of that today, as a team. Just find a way to get riled up before games and just stay locked in and stay together. But, defense is what we do, and that's our bread and butter. So we know if we want to win and go far where we want to go, that's the thing that's going to take us there. So we'll pinpoint that. We'll get that taken care of. We understand that's what we need to fix, and we're going to get it done.
Does that add to the frustration level right now? Not that your guys are completely frustrated, but does that add to frustration since the defense has struggled?
Yeah, because we know what we're capable of on that end of the floor, and just to see us not execute it, it's frustrating because it's stuff that we're doing to cause us not to play our best on defense. And, it's fixable things. That's the great part about it. We just got to play with more toughness and be more physical.
Mike mentioned the turnovers a couple of times. What's it going to take from the guards to keep control of the ball?
Just making right reads, be more tougher with the ball, not get sped up by defense. And, they pushed us out far towards the half court to run our offense, and we can't let that happen. Just little things like that is what we have to fix.
How do you fix that, the not getting spread out so much on offense? How do you not get pushed out to the half court line?
It's really just a toughness thing. It's not nothing fundamental. You can get into their body and break out, but just got to be more physical and impose your will first. They were the aggressors today, and we weren't, and that's what we have to be.
John Michael, you guys pressed a lot in that second half, kind of for an extended period. How'd you feel in that? Did you like it? I mean, there were some ups and some downs. How'd you feel your team did in the press?
Well, it was helping us get back in the game at the time, so I liked it because it was working. That's something we practiced, so it wasn't nothing new for anybody. It's just hard to get down in that deep of a hole against a good team like TCU and try and claw your way back because you have to press the whole time and players get fatigued. But we worked on that, so I like it.
Like you mentioned, TCU has back against the wall. You're about to face another team that's back against the wall. How do you approach that, knowing you just had a team like that?
You got to understand that your back's against the wall. I mean, again, it's no, this league is unforgiving. I think everybody this time of year plays with a sense of desperation because there's an opportunity to put yourself in better position for whatever it is that you're doing moving forward, whether it be conference standings and position for the conference tournament or a postseason bid or seeding for a postseason bid, whatever it is. And what we've got to do is we just got to understand that we play against the best competition in the country every day. It's a grind to go through this league. We found some success, doing things a certain way, and we got to get back to that. And the last 2 games, we found ourselves on a not successful side because of things that obviously the other team did, but there's some things that we can control to be better. But again, I want to make this clear, like, today was about TCU being really good and making Oklahoma State really bad and making us play in a way that, didn't look like we belonged on the court with them. But we know better than that. We played this team before. We know what we're capable of, and we believe in our guys. Our guys hopefully continue to believe in themselves, and our staff continues to work with these kids in a way that they'll keep getting better. I'm very confident in our ability to figure this out before it ends, and there's still a couple weeks left to do that.